Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori and this is Africa 54. Now, first tonight, no deal in the DRC. The Democratic Republic of Congo has called off the signing of a peace deal with the rebel group M23. The two sides were scheduled to sign a document in the Ugandan town of Entebbe Monday. Ugandan government spokesman Ofono Opondo told VOA the Congolese delegates asked for more time to read through the agreement before signing it. A leader of the M23, Bertrand Bisimwa, told VOA that the dispute revolves around what to call the document. The government wants to call it a deal, call the deal a declaration, while the rebels want to call it a peace agreement. Well, VOA's East Africa correspondent Gabe Joselow has been covering the conflict in the DRC as well as the ongoing peace talks in Uganda. Today, he joins us in the studio. Welcome, Gabe.
Thanks, Vincent.
Now, you've been to Congo, you've been following up on this conflict and the story. First, what is the significance of this no-deal situation?
Well, I think, we're still seeing these two sides hammer out the final details of what's going to be eventually a peace agreement. You know, what the Congolese government has said and what the M23 have said, that this is really about the language of the document, I think is papering over the fact that there are still some substantial, items to be worked out. Namely, Congo wants the M23 soldiers who have fled to Uganda and Rwanda to be returned to Congo to face some kind of justice. And it seems like the regional partners are probably a little bit reluctant to let that happen. Yes. So until that happens, or until there's some agreement to that concern, it could be a little while until we see a deal.
But will you say still, this was a big achievement by the Congolese military that we know a year ago was seen as extremely weak?
Absolutely, yeah. If you compared what happened in this latest offensive, the latest round of military advances against M23 positions, compared to what happened this time of year last year, when M23 totally overran the city of Goma, just FARDC, the government soldiers, just fled really without putting up much of a fight. It's just night and day. The Congolese army, they sent reinforcements that were really well disciplined, really ready to engage against M23, and were backed by this new United Nations Intervention Brigade, which helped them to get the upper hand and push M23 back.
Now, we know that M23 is not the only rebel movement that has been operating in that area. There's the Mai Mai and the other groups now, FDLR. What is the psychological implication of defeating, or at least getting the M23 on the run?
M23, among these other rebel groups, was the most disciplined. They had probably the strongest forces. I mean, they really were a well-organized military force to be reckoned with. So the fact that the Congolese army could, consolidate its forces and could actually defeat such a powerful group that was backed by neighboring countries is really a huge success for FARDC. So I think that going into, future battles with the remaining rebel groups that are in the area, you could see a FARDC that has higher morale, that is better motivated, more confident, and you really could do some strong missions out there.
Yes, as a person who's been there personally in the eastern DRC, how can you describe that region, briefly?
Well, first of all, it's the thing you notice first is it's just beautiful. When you go into DRC, it's really green, verdant landscape and hills. It's also still very undeveloped, and there's still a lot of people who are displaced from past fighting, from past conflicts, and who are still really looking for just a period of peace so that they can rebuild their lives and get back to a more normal way of being. And so I think it's a hopeful place, but there's still a lot to go.
In terms of peace, from this side, you get the sense that every day people are just so fearful. But how do you see the people going on with their lives every day?
It's amazing the tenacity of the people that are living in a city like Goma.
Yeah. Well, let's end it right here. Thanks a lot, Gabe.
All right. Thank you.
Well, that's Gabe Joselow, who is our viewer correspondent in East Africa. He joined us in person today in Washington.